And this is overtime here on OSN. It's Lever Sage, Tanner Ryle with you once again. And an ugly, ugly night for the Ottawa Senators as they lose 6-3 to the Florida Panthers in a scoreboard that, quite frankly, favored the Ottawa Senators. If you look at it, it flatters them 6-3.
Yeah.
With the score, 5 goals in the first almost one period of play for the Florida Panthers, and they get out to a 5-0 lead. They score 8 seconds in, they score 66 seconds in, and the route was on. Tanner, Ryle, what have you done for the last couple hours with the fact that you really haven't had a game to watch? That was a tough watch tonight.
Yeah, that was brutal. Felt like almost calling you halfway through and Lee, I'm not feeling so well. I don't think I can do the postcast.
Yeah.
Starting to think about maybe I'll go over and watch Project Hail Mary one more time. At least that'd be like some entertainment value.
I tuned into the Blue Jays. I was watching for a while. I was watching the Canadians and the Habs, or the Canadians and the Habs, the Canadians and the Lightning. But look, we're going to get into all of it. The old Clint Eastwood saying the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll start with the good. Okay. The good is the out-of-town scoreboard for the Ottawa Senators tonight. So with everybody listening, the New York Islanders have just lost to the Buffalo Sabres 4-2. The Philadelphia Flyers have just lost 6-4 to the Washington Capitals. The Columbus Blue Jackets right now are 2-2, middle of the third period. And I think you can forget about the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Boston Bruins. Boston just keeps winning. They're quite frankly, they're an amazing team right now. They beat Dallas 6-3, Pittsburgh all over Detroit, and the Red Wings seem to be falling as well. So look, there is some help for the Ottawa Senators. So all is not lost on a night like this, but it sure felt like it 8 seconds into the hockey game. I mean, as disastrous a start to a period that you could ever imagine, especially, we talked about it in the pregame show for Linus Ullmark. Without playing on Saturday, he needed to go in and be really good. I think to earn some of the trust of his teammates back. Tanner, just miscommunication with Jordan Spence, and then the power play goal and the Pinto penalty, and they take another penalty and they almost kill it off, and they score at the very end of it. And it was just a nightmare first period for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can remember this team ever starting a game worse. Like, that might be the worst period they've played in franchise history.
Yeah, recency bias. Like, it's hard to remember every period, but
yeah,
it's certainly in an important game. I can't remember things going well. When the Panthers set a franchise mark for the fastest goal in team history off the opening draw, well, that's not a good start.
No.
So,
and the fact that they played the graphic there where the Sens haven't won in South Florida since 2021. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, 15 minutes into the game, it's 5-0. I mean, it's pretty much over at that point. It's not much you can really do there. And sure, you can blame a lot of the play on, I think, some of the forwards and the defensemen in that period. Nobody really looked good, but you need more out of your goaltender.
Well, and it's cause and effect, right? Like, yes. Can other people be blamed? There was some very shoddy defensive play, taking 3 penalties, high sticks from Pinto, no excuse for that. Zub in front of the net, Clevin in front of the net. Like, when Clevin high sticks somebody, it's going to be a high stick. Like, the guy is tall, and when he's hitting somebody with his stick in the helmet, in the front of the net, you can't miss it. Those are penalties you cannot take. However, when your goalie screws up 8 seconds into the hockey game, and then the second goal, I wouldn't say was his fault, but then the third goal, they're buzzing around on the power play. He made 3 or 4 really good saves, and then he just comes over to the side, and it's like off of his pad and caromed into the net. You can't let that goal in. With everything that's happened, you just can't let it in. So tonight, there are 2 things that we're going to discuss, and you can see you can see how popular this game was. The chat already is firing on
Oh,
all
wow.
cylinders here.
I didn't even see that.
Julian, what the hell was that game? No one showed up. Ethan, I said the two of you should have started time on ice after the first period. I don't.
This is overtime.
This is overtime. Yeah. Okay, so not going to work for me, brother, says Tanner Ryle. He wanted to bail in the middle of it. Agreed.
I wanted to bail after 10 minutes. Zach.
Yeah. Was waiting for Tyler Heineman to get thrown out there. Richard is in. We're losing so bad. My buddy interrupted D&D night to bitch at the Sens for costing him money on a bet and fantasy points. Okay. And then Ethan saying like Ottawa basically didn't lose any ground.
Yeah, I think that's the only positive you can take from tonight, really.
So there are two things. There's the hockey game, and then there is the off-ice relationship effect with Linus Ullmark and the confidence that the rest of the team will say that they have, but they do not have. Do you know how many guys went over to Linus Ullmark when he got pulled? 0.
Yep.
0. I watched it twice. Came off the ice, sat at the bench, tapped Reimer, who was getting ready. Kind of gave Reimer a thanks very much for going in there for me. Then he went off to the dressing room, to put some things before he came back to the bench. Not one person went over and tapped him. Not one. There's an issue. And the issue is that this team doesn't have any faith in their goaltending, and their goaltending has not shown that they can put any faith into the team. And this all started on Saturday. It's too bad because he played really well. Linus Ullmark on Thursday against Pittsburgh, even though they lost the game, he played really well. And it just has gone completely downhill. What are you laughing at?
We got some breaking news here in the chat, Lee, that you're going to be a fan of from our own Z Given. Making it official. The Newmarket Hurricanes have beat the Trenton Golden Hawks 3-2. The Golden Hawks have been eliminated from the playoffs.
My team in Newmarket, I saw it was 2-2. I'm like, come on, Newmarket, just one more goal. One goal, one time, and they listened to me. Fantastic news. What that means for everyone who is like, what are you talking about right now? That means that Zach McGibbon is going to be much more available, is what that means. So that's excellent. Love to see it, Zach. Love to see it. Got to lose at some point. So Zach will be able to do more things here on OSN coming up in the future, which is good. So I want to hear from people about what they think about the goaltending now. Like, do you just kind of give up if you're Travis Green and send Linus Ullmark back in there? Or would you send a message and put James Reimer in on Thursday? I think they got more confidence in James Reimer. I don't think James Reimer's a better goalie, but
I'd seriously think about it.
I would too.
I think he gives you the better chance of winning right now.
It is crazy to say that. But I would very much consider putting Reimer in because I think the team has more confidence in front of that guy than they do on the other guy.
I mean, you saw it tonight. They tightened up after he went in.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, it was hard to play any looser than they already were, but
well, no, but once it's 5-0, like the Florida Panthers had 18 shots in the first period and ended the game with 29. Like, I don't know that that's Ottawa playing defense more than the Panthers going, we don't even care about this game and we're up 5-0.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But there is a serious discussion to be had now about the guy that they put in on Thursday, because what gives you a better chance to win? A goaltender that isn't as good as the other guy, but the team has more confidence in front of you, or the guy that's maybe a little bit better and had an off night tonight, but the team has zero confidence in? It's a discussion. And I can only imagine what Travis Green is thinking on the way home tonight. I can only imagine. Even more good news. The Carolina Hurricanes have scored. Nikolai Ehlers has scored and now lead the Columbus Blue Jackets 3-2 with 6:27 to go in that game. This might be one of those nights that you wish Ottawa had won.
Yeah.
But every other team that is around them that is like very much a consideration to be ahead of the Senators in the standings have lost. Like, you're not catching Boston at this point, right? Like that dream is over. So you are the only place that you're going to finish is that second wild card spot. And who's going to be there? Is it going to be I don't think Pittsburgh, with the way that they have played now, and they're up to 92 points. I'm going to say that they're pretty much home and cooled. And
you would think, yeah.
So that might be a bit of a stretch. They're still going to have to win a couple of games to get there, but at 92, you feel like they're pretty safe. But you got the New York Islanders, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Ottawa Senators, and the Detroit Red Wings. You have Columbus, Philly, and the Islanders. There's one spot in the Metro and then one spot in the wild card for them to get. So they have two opportunities, whereas Ottawa and Detroit only have one opportunity, and they're going to have to beat out the team that doesn't finish third in the Metro. So right now, that's the Columbus Blue Jackets. And right now, if Columbus goes on to lose this game, which they're down now 3-2 with 6 minutes to go, the Senators will still only be 2 points out of a playoff spot with a game in hand, which is miraculous, considering that they have 0 points in the state of Florida on Saturday and Tuesday, and they're going to come home on Thursday. Miraculous. But, man, there is some work to do. Do you think this is a game that you can shrug off a little bit to go like, hey, nothing went right. We're down 8 seconds in. We're down 5-0. It's not necessarily in the way we played. Like, they're not going to love it, but they haven't had a game like this in forever, right? So can they get on the plane and go, you know what? Just one of those nights and come back out against Buffalo and look the same as they have for the last 3 weeks before this game?
I mean, they did drop one in Tampa as well, so it's a little bit rough, but I think it kind of has to be where they need to get back on the same page and get going, because this home stretch is going to be huge. And I think you really hope Jake Sanderson is ready to go on Thursday, especially since what we saw at the end of the game there with Carter Yakimchuk taking that headshot from Noah Gregor. And I don't know, it doesn't look great. Might be a concussion for Yakimchuk. Hopefully not, but I think you really got to hope Jake Sanderson is ready for this home stretch.
If he's twice in a non-contact jersey in practice, you would hope that the plan was for Thursday anyway. And now that Yakimchuk's going to be out, like, there's no way Yakimchuk's playing in the next week anyway. I mean,
if Sanderson's back, I don't see how he would.
But it looked like a concussion, and you're not letting that guy. You're not letting that guy go out if he's not like 1,000%, right? So you're just not doing that. So, okay. Ethan says, okay, gents, let's slow down. It's one game. Before tonight, Linus was hot. Let's not say that almost 40-year-old Reimer would be our key to victory against the scorching hot Sabres.
Not so hot anymore.
Spell Sabres right, first of all, Ethan. The spelling's a big thing for you. But
they're not so hot anymore either. Buffalo's been...
no, they're pretty hot.
Yeah, but not like they were. They had some real plot armor a couple months ago.
I know, but they've only lost 2-10 in regulation.
Right.
They're still doing it. They're still all right. Like, it's like a slump for the Sabres.
Yeah, but I do agree that I think the team feels better in front of Reimer, and they're gonna play better if they feel better in front of him. I think there needs to be a team meeting off ice, though, because they were all on the same page before Tampa, and they need to figure that out before Buffalo. I agree with that, and I'll ask you, what's the common denominator that happened before Tampa?
That Linus Ullmark didn't play.
And they haven't been the same since then, and they played like that in front of him, and he didn't look very good tonight. There's a common denominator. That's all I'm saying. The team does not feel good playing in front of him.
And by the way, the team meets like every day. They have meetings every day.
Right.
So they don't need
yeah.
They don't need a special meeting, Ethan. They meet every day. And yes, they've lost 2 in a row and it's ill-timed. But I agree with Tanner. I think the mindset of thinking that Linus Ullmark was going to play on Saturday and him not playing and them losing that hockey game with James Reimer in goal, and then Ullmark comes back out after all the tired jokes and everything, and he doesn't even get through the first period and he gives up 5 goals. Yeah, they didn't play great in front of him, but come on. Like,
yeah, I mean, the team was brutal. We'll give them that for sure. They looked like they had probably they looked like they spent the last 48 hours in the elbow room.
Yeah, probably a little bit too much, but the first goal and the third goal for Linus Ullmark can't happen.
No, absolutely.
So as bad as they played, they should have really only been down 1-0 at that point. And you can get your game together. And that's the job of an $8.25 million goaltender, the guy without Jake Sanderson, without Thomas Chabot, that needs to be your best player and not your biggest liability. He has literally been their biggest liability over the last 2 games.
That's being very generous. I think he's been their biggest liability all season.
Right.
Linus Ullmark is the only reason this team isn't in a divisional playoff spot right now.
I wouldn't say the only reason. I would put some of this on management to not have a capable guy
right.
to go in other spots, but he is one of the big reasons for sure.
Goaltending is the biggest reason.
Yep.
There's no bigger reason than goaltending. This team isn't a division spot. You look at all of their analytics for skaters for 5-on-5 play, and they're top 10 in the league. You put a competent goaltender back there, and they're in a division spot, and this isn't happening. A year, if they miss the playoffs, a very good year of this core where they are built to contend for a Stanley Cup is thrown away. And how do you think guys like Brady Tkachuk feel about that?
Mm-hmm. It's a year wasted. That's what
completely wasted. How does Jake Sanderson, Shane Pinto, Tim Stützle, all these young players feel about that who are just entering their primes?
By the way, Andrei Svechnikov has scored on the power play. The Carolina Hurricanes now lead Columbus 4-2. So massive help for the Ottawa Senators as you look at the teams around them. I mean, Boston looks like they're close in the wild card, but only because they're slotted in that wild card position. But the teams around them, the New York Islanders, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Detroit Red Wings, all lost tonight. All of them. Sorry, unless somehow Columbus gets 2 in the next 3 minutes. But
yeah, the only real movement is the Flyers have technically passed them in the standings because they've only played 73 games versus 74.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter.
No.
They still have the same amount of points. And Philly lost tonight, but we mentioned this on the pregame show, they have a ton in front of them. Their next 5 games are, I believe they have Detroit twice and Boston and the Islanders in their next 5 games. So whereas Ottawa doesn't, they come home and they play a tough schedule, but they don't really have anybody in the conference that they're trying to catch. Philly's got a ton of them. So it can go either way with that. But this is a night for sure that Ottawa will thankfully look to that out-of-town scoreboard and say, like, that will be the biggest relief when they get on the plane and they find out that they didn't lose any ground to anybody tonight in their playoff chase after the disaster that happened this evening. And therefore, like, getting into the players' minds, they are able to let it go and reset a little bit more because they didn't get put in a hole. That's the only thing that they'll get on the plane and go, you know what? It's just one game. We didn't get put any further behind. It's all still in front of us. But when it comes to the goaltending, so what would you do if you're listening right now? Right in the chat. Who would you start on Thursday? And don't just say one of the two guys, whether it's Ullmark or whether it's Reimer. Give a reason. I would be really tempted to play James Reimer because I don't think he's as good as Linus Ullmark. I don't think he's very good at all, to be honest. But I think the players will play harder in front of him than they will the other guy. And that might matter to me as a coach more than Ullmark being a little bit better. It would be a serious conversation that they would have about this.
I would agree. Yeah.
Ethan says Linus comes back from his leave and helps get this team in the hunt, loses one game bad, and now he's punching bag again. It's a switch. There's no in between with hating Linus Ullmark. Yeah, but it's not just one game, Ethan. Travis Green, after the game on Saturday, said, I would love to start Linus every game, but he needed a rest and wasn't able to go today. He's calling him out, saying, we need you, and you bailed on us. So that's not one bad game that he has tonight. That's letting your team down twice in the last two games. And in two games that you didn't even play 20 minutes of action.
It's not a good look.
Right? You let the team down twice, and you didn't even get through one period combined in those two games.
And you're saying here, to us talking about the players not playing great in front of him tonight, grow up and be professional. I don't care if you're pissed off at Linus, go play and win. You could say the same about the goalie.
Yeah, and look, they all want to make the playoffs and they're going to be professional, but that's not how teams work. Who knows what went on behind the scene in the end of December and into January, but if they really had his back, they would have come out well before this and kind of talked about, like, we got his back and we're good. Like, you would see it. You would see the actions, and it doesn't look like they have his back, and it doesn't look like he has the capability. I thought you had a pretty good point on the pregame show. You said it well. Say that stat again.
Which one, sorry?
The one about Ullmark and career games. Or, sorry, like games in 1 year.
Yeah, Ullmark is on pace right now, still. And this is taking into account the month off that he took for the mental health break. He is still on pace to play the most games in a single season that he has ever played. Now, I'm pulling it up right now. He started 42 games this year. Last year, 44. His most starts in a single season was with the 2022-23 Boston Bruins when he started 49. And I don't know if that 42 is updated, sorry, to include tonight. So it might be 43 if you count tonight. So he's pretty close to that 49 mark. And, you know, quite a few games left in the season. I'd say he's probably going to hit 50. I just don't know that Linus Ullmark is a 50-game-a-season goaltender, no matter how you look at it. He's been a tandem guy for his whole career. And when he's been in a tandem, sure, you know, that 49-game season, he had a .938 save percentage and led the Bruins to a playoffs. But I just don't know that he's ever going to be a 50-game-a-season goalie, especially as he's getting older. I think they need to look at a legit 1B, borderline 1A guy in the offseason. Mm-hmm. It has to be probably the biggest priority for Steve Staios.
So Ethan says you start Linus because he's the starter. And ultimately, if this team makes it into the playoffs, he's got to be the guy to do it. Julian says you pay a guy $8.5 million to start as many games as possible in the season. So logically, you'd want to put Linus Ullmark in there. The issue is not knowing which version that you're going to get. So personally, I'm putting Linus in again to see if he can steal one, says Julian. James is in. Leaky Linus is good more regularly than Reimer, so he starts. But it's a catastrophe. There is no good answer.
That's the thing. I think I might lean a little bit more towards Allmark because I think that the chat is kind of right. If they are going to get in, he probably still has to be that guy. But if he comes out again like he did tonight, if you're looking at the weekend, I might give Reimer a little bit more of a look. And I think you're going to have to either way. Just based on what's gone on in the last few days, I don't think there's any chance Allmark's playing both games on Saturday, Sunday. I cannot see that happening.
Well, if he can't go when he's got about 36 hours rest, hard to
believe. In the Florida sun.
Hard to believe that he's going to be able to go on about 28 hours rest. And look, some of this is on Staios. It's on the rest of the management group to not have an answer to this. The fact that we're discussing, the fact that it's even like, no matter what happens on Thursday, it's a legitimate discussion now about putting James Reimer in the net for your biggest game of the year now Thursday. It's a legitimate discussion because you can see, you don't even have to be near the team to see that there is a divide between their goalie and the rest of the team.
Yep.
So if there is a divide, that is on the management because James Reimer is the other person that we're discussing putting in. I don't want to be discussing James Reimer as the second guy.
He shouldn't be in the NHL this year.
Right. So that's on the management, and they deserve some criticism for that. That is their fault. Now Ethan wants to call up his boy, Levy. He's only got one goal in his last 120 minutes in back-to-back situations. He says kidding, of course.
That'll help.
And then, sorry, James is in. Ethan just answered my question. Can we get Levy from last year back again?
From a 12-game sample size where he looked good. That warranted him being the guy this year.
Yeah. Z Gibbons says, never been more happy with the out-of-town scoreboard than I am right now. Yeah, it's a full win for the Ottawa Senators that way. And maybe the night that keeps them in the playoff hunt because every team that is around them lost, including the New York Islanders, the Detroit Red Wings, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. They all lost in regulation.
Yep. It's going to get real interesting when quite a few of those teams start playing each other this week, which the Ottawa Senators are pretty much clear of that. They've got the Islanders once more in the third last game of the season. By then, we'll probably know who's in and who's out. But we were saying we'd probably know around now too. So
we'll see. We'll see. I guess you say the third last game of the season, but that's not that far away. So the good news for Ottawa is that they only have 2 more games on the road, and that is another.
I think that's huge.
That's another back-to-back situation, but one of those 1:00 Saturday, 7:00 Sunday. So it's not terrible between Long Island and New Jersey. It's not a very far trip. So I wouldn't consider the rest of the schedule very difficult. But they do play 3 and 4. The Buffalo Sabres in town on Thursday, and then Minnesota on Saturday, and Carolina on Sunday before they have Tampa, Florida at home, and then go on the road for the Islanders Devils, and then come home to play the Leafs. And I'm telling you, if they need 2 points in that Leaf game, and half the crowd is blue and white. Like I'm just telling you it's not going to be a great situation if that's the case.
That'll be a real nail biter.
Because you see what loose teams are able to do tonight. Like Florida didn't have a bunch of players, but it just didn't matter. They got a goal 8 seconds in. They got a power play. They scored a goal. Everyone's feeling good. Oh, I'll get one on the power play too. And that happens, right? So, man, oh, man, it's wild swings is what this is.
Very
right?
much so, yeah.
It goes from Ottawa playing so well, and even when they lost on Thursday in the shootout, they played really well. And then I just don't think anybody could have anticipated them going to Florida. Their number one guy is like, nah, not ready. Sorry. And then they don't get any points against Tampa and Florida. It's just a really odd situation that sometimes you don't know. You don't know how things are going to go. Tanner. Ethan yelling, do not diss Levy, Tanner. He saved the season last year.
He had 12 good games. 12.
And
that was enough to warrant being an NHL backup this year.
Also, what kind of situation were they in last year that they needed Levy Marilainen to save the season?
Yeah, it was because Allmark and Forsberg were both hurt, and then when Forsberg came back, he didn't play well. Sens would kill to have Anton Forsberg right now.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? If this is last season, Forsberg's their guy right now.
Oh, and that's the thing. If they had another even capable guy to go in the net, I'm telling you right now that Linus Ullmark wouldn't be in there. Yeah. He just wouldn't be. Like, even if they lost,
if Marilainen played well this year, he'd be their guy right now.
Yep.
They're just looking for anybody who can make a save.
Ethan says Riddick is my prediction. I see him in the Sens uniform next season. Tandem goalie who can play well when called upon. Julian says this fan base likes to bring up the analytics, which is fine, but there are so many glaring holes in the roster that need to be addressed this offseason if Ottawa wants to contend. Okay, look, everyone's pounding on them tonight, Julian, but I wouldn't say so many glaring errors. Like, over the last 2 months, this team has been one of the best teams in the NHL and have held many, many good teams down. So I wouldn't say glaring holes. They have a couple of holes to fill for sure.
Yeah, but I think number one priority this offseason has to be a goalie.
Or two.
I wouldn't rule it out. Ethan's bringing up Riddick here. I'm not going to get attached to this guy, but
yeah,
someone like that. He's got an 894 in 29 games this year. I think they'd take that. There's probably 5 or 6 guys that are David Riddick-like that they could probably look at. To me, I might be looking for a bigger name. I think, hate to bring him up again. Jesper Wallstedt would be such a nice ad for this team right now. Just to get a young guy that has some legitimate upside. It would cost a lot, but I think it's probably worth looking at. Another one I'd like, I think he's going to get paid a lot of money in UFA if he makes it to free agency. I think Stuart Skinner would be a really nice ad for this team. Just looking at how he's done in Pittsburgh this year, 2 deep playoff runs in Edmonton, playing behind a much better defensive team, I think would do well. He's used to a Canadian market. I think that'd make a lot of sense.
And I can tell you, the Senators had very genuine interest in bringing Stuart Skinner into the market.
Would that have been at the deadline, or was that when Edmonton originally?
No, when Edmonton originally.
Interesting.
Yeah. I can tell you that there were some serious discussions about that. I know that.
Good to know. But I just think it makes a ton of sense. He'd be a great fit, I think. And you also know Staios was in Edmonton before he was with Ottawa.
Exactly.
So I think that would make sense. I'd think about a guy like Binnington. I would wonder about that fit.
I think the way the Senators play defense, you could wonder about a lot of goalies that could thrive in this situation.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, there are how many people have been out there the last month that are going, James Reimer is getting a shutout. James Reimer is facing 9 shots on goal the entire hockey game. That's what's happening in Ottawa. If James Reimer can play there and get a shutout and only let in 1 goal and they trot out his stats and, oh, look, James Reimer's been playing really well lately. He's only got a 2 point. That's because they don't give up any shots. Like, Other goalies are looking in on this situation going, I'd love to play there. Like from the way the team plays in front of them is what I'm saying. Like maybe not, I want to be a senator and live in Ottawa and all the things that happened in the background
Right.
and all of that stuff. But just the way the team plays in front, yes, a goalie would love to play there. So here's the money if Linus Ullmark was bought out. Against the cap, it would cost them 3.1 next year. After that, it would be 2.1 for the next 2 years after that. And then it would go up to 2.8, not almost 2.89 for the next 3 years after that.
It's pretty long, but where the cap's going.
So the cap is going up. Next year hurts a little bit at 3.1.
You would also
again,
have to keep in mind they are paying $1 million to another bought out goalie for the next 2 seasons.
Well, look, they are, and those are things that Steve Staios would have to answer to Michael Andlauer, but don't think that Michael Andlauer wasn't involved in those decisions in the first place.
No, absolutely.
So the fact that the owner is involved in those decisions. So if I told you that they would save 5.1 against the cap next year and 6.1 against the cap the next 2 years if they bought him out, and if you just went and said, can we get a goalie in here? Like whatever, they're not playing Reimer very much, obviously, like league minimum. But can you take like $6 million next year or $7 million the year after that? And can you get 2 good goalies in here? Can you do that? Like, is it possible to still use the same money because Ullmark's making 8.25? You buy him out, it costs you 3 against the cap, so you got 5.1 that you can use for a goalie or 2 next year. If you wanted to stay within the same money to spend on your goaltending is where I'm coming from with this. So you're not spending more money on your goaltending. You just have less to go out and spend on somebody else. Is that enough?
I mean, it'd be tough, especially if you're thinking about like a guy that's proven a little bit more. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Skinner might push 5 in the offseason just because there's not a whole lot of guys out there. Bennington's more than that.
But if it's not Skinner, like if it is Riddick, if it is somebody else in that realm, you're probably not paying him $5 million.
No, I don't think Riddick's going to get that kind of money, but do you feel comfortable running with potentially 2 guys that have never even been close to a starter? They'd have to be pretty proven.
Would you take either one of the Leaf goalies?
My concern with them is just how hurt they always are, like both of them.
I know, but once a guy's healthy, how do you predict that he's going to get hurt again? Like at some point,
but it's just, especially with Wool, it's like so often.
So if I gave you the combination of Ullmark and I don't know, like take somebody at kind of the minimum again.
Riddick.
Okay, so let's say
Riddick will make a bit more, maybe. He might be like $1.5 million or something.
Okay, but let's say Ullmark and Riddick, or go out and get somebody like Skinner and Wool. What are you doing?
Skinner and Wool would be pretty tempting. Because I don't think Skinner's like super injury prone.
No.
I'd be pretty intrigued by that as a combination, especially Wool's still a younger guy. He could probably improve, and then you'd still have Marilinen hopefully ready. I don't think he's going to be in the NHL next season, but you would hope the year after maybe.
Ethan says, I don't see a buyout as an option. I think the Sens are stuck with him, so it's likely getting a second goalie to lighten his workload. Sucks to pay a tandem goalie that much, but it is what it is. So why wouldn't Why do you not see buyout as an option? Like you're paying $8.25 million for him to stay, and you have to consider not just the financials, but you have to consider what it's doing for the rest of the team. Does the team come back next year if you add everyone? Oh, we need a top 4 right D. We need this. We need that. Does it even matter if none of the guys have any faith in the goalie? Like, don't they have to have faith in the goaltender? I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, I think the end of the season here is going to be really telling about whether Allmark will be back next season or not.
Way more than what happened in January. I think the team tried to have us back.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. And so it feels like they had his back, and they probably told him behind the scenes, get in the net and stop the puck. And the fact that he was not able to go, I think this last two games, 3 or 4 days, is going to be the reason why Linus Ullmark is possibly bought out from the Ottawa Senators. It'll be this span of 4 or 5 days. James says, I don't know timing. Can you get free agents in-house and then buy them out?
Just checking on this right now. So the answer is no.
Yeah.
So teams can only complete a buyout during a specific window.
Yeah.
It opens on the latter of June 15th or 48 hours after the Stanley Cup final ends.
Right.
And it closes on June 30th with free agency beginning on July the 1st.
Yeah.
Now
so you got to make decisions on your guys.
They could make a trade in the summer, like after the playoffs wrap up, and then decide to do a buyout. But free agency would kind of be out of the question.
Right.
Unless you have a pretty good idea that somebody's coming here, because frankly, as much talk as there is about tampering, those talks do happen before free agency opens all the time. So if they've got a pretty good idea that somebody's coming here, maybe you consider it. But I think if it gets to the point where they're at a buyout, I don't think it matters whether or not they have somebody else lined up. I think it's going to be pretty extreme circumstances where the team is probably out on the guy and they kind of don't have another choice.
Julian says left shot defenseman could be useful, knowing what we know, that these right shot D are a touch slow for the speed of the league. You aren't moving away from Zub and Spence. Yeah, I think there's a lot of what everyone is calling in the chat, ideally, that you'd like things, but this has to be shored up. This is now a major issue.
Goaltending has to be the number one thing.
Right.
Like I wouldn't even I'd put forward and right shot defenseman over left side just because you've got Sanderson, Chabot, and Clevin lined up. I think they wanted to have Sabrango as that guy and keep him as insulating Yakimchuk in the AHL, but as a guy who could come up and play a little bit.
Yep.
Didn't work out, but just a similar guy to that. Probably someone who's going to play in the AHL most of the year, but come up when he can, because you're not scratching Tyler Clevin, Thomas Chabot, or Jake Sanderson to get another guy in the lineup. It's only an injury thing. And obviously, like, you would hope that this freak lineup of 3 out of their top 4 guys being out, and now Yakimchuk as well, you kind of hope that doesn't happen again. It's not very common.
I haven't really even talked about like the game itself and like how people played. I think everyone played kind of crappy tonight. Like,
yeah,
I just didn't see, like, after it's 5-0. When's the last time we even saw a 6-on-3? I don't remember seeing a 6-on-3, and like, how do you even practice it? But a couple of comments, even look, Jamie McLennan as a color guy is a very pro Ottawa color guy. Like,
yeah,
I like Jamie. He's a really nice guy. I think the world of him as a person, actually. He's just so pro Ottawa that it's hard to take him seriously.
And he's a goalie hugger, self-admittedly, because he was one.
But he's never really going to say the negative things. In this game, in the third period, with Ottawa on the power play, with a 5-minute major, They're down, but they got 5 minutes to get 3 goals, and it's not out of the question. And he said twice that Florida's just hungrier.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How could the Panthers, with a 5-0 lead and then 6-3 in the third period and be shorthanded, be hungrier than the Ottawa Senators? How is that even possible? But it was.
Yeah, their power play did not look good tonight. Whether it was the major before that, the 6-on-3, just really didn't look dangerous. Tim Stützle had that one crossbar. I think he's a little snake bitten right now. A rough couple of games for him compared to what we've seen most of the year. But he's been this team's MVP, so I think he's allowed to have 1 or 2 off games in a year. Still would like to see a little bit more out of the captain.
But even the Panthers, they had that one time where they put it through the legs of James Reimer, where it's like, you couldn't do that 100 times.
No.
Like once in 100, where it doesn't hit some part of Reimer and goes in. And then like 5 seconds later, they hit the crossbar right behind them. And it's like, oh boy. Like this.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't want to say I was embarrassed, but when Nick Cousins is at his best and he's agitating and he's doing like all those things and he's causing penalties, yeah, he's a great player to have on your team. But do you see that one replay tonight where they, like, Cousins goes down and he kind of complains, and then the broadcasters, like, Cousins was hauled down, and then they show the replay? It was so embarrassing. Like, he literally went up to the guy, grabbed his arm, got in that kind of, we're do-si-doing with our elbows, and then Cousins falls down. Like, somehow the guy did something to him, and then he gets up and complains. It's like, dude, this is not what is going to get you back in this hockey game. Like,
no.
I just thought it was embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't think anybody looked great tonight. I mean, Drake Batherson, good for you for scoring 30, career high for him. But
yeah,
I saw also, like, aside from Tim Stützle, I believe in this month, Michael Amadio has the most points out of every forward on the team.
Come on.
I think they said 5 goals in his last 15 games on the broadcast. Career high in points for Amadio. So,
well, Amadio and Lassie Thompson were the only plus players on the ice tonight.
Yeah,
goal and an assist, and a +1 for Mike Amadio in a game where they got absolutely torched. Ethan says, I would love to see Binnington. Think he needs a change of scenery. Would be playing closer to home. He's a guy that's proven to do well in a good defensive structure. St. Louis a few years ago. Look, he would have to want to come here and be a part of it, but I don't know. Jordan Binnington's played in a lot more big games than anybody else on the Senators roster's played. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And
I'd be all over it. Yeah, if you wanted to come here.
And he doesn't seem to be a player that when things go bad, like he sulks and then there's problems. Like he might not save the puck like everybody wants him to all the time, but he doesn't really hang his head and complain about it. And he continues to play. Like, how many games has Binnington played this year?
Check that for you.
Look that up for him, because I feel like a goalie that's been that kind of peppered, and I know he wanted to stay playing because he was going to play at the Olympics, and he just kept playing well at the Olympics.
He's played 38 games.
Was he hurt this year?
I don't remember hearing anything, but I know Joel Hofer is kind of seen as taking the crease from him in St. Louis, and Hofer has played 40, so it's almost been an even split between the two of them.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if St. Louis wants to ditch him. Maybe it's a buy low option, but you would think also if it was a buy low, somebody probably would have bid at the deadline.
Yep. Julian says, let's say hypothetically Staios decides he sticks with Linus. You think there's huge pressure on Ullmark to show up to camp in shape and ready to go. He still seems out of shape now. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, he admitted, I remember that interview at training camp, that he wasn't feeling good, and he really hopes next season he doesn't come in feeling like that. So something to that for sure.
Well, and not even mentally, the fact that he just hasn't played that much when he didn't play in January and he didn't play over the Olympic break has not allowed him to be in the kind of shape it takes to go out, get pressed in a game where you have 39 saves, you go to a shootout, you get on a plane, and then you're ready to go on Saturday afternoon. Like, he wasn't able to do that in the most important time of the year for the team. So call it what you want. I call it like Julian does. That's being out of shape.
Yep.
It's not like a physically, like, can't catch your breath out of shape. It's more of a, you're not in shape to recover as quickly.
Right.
So, oh, what a night. What a night. Again, Ottawa will thank their lucky stars that everyone around them lost tonight and they did not lose a whole bunch of ground to anybody. So, look, it's still there in front of them. But you look at the next four teams, yeah, they don't have a ton to play for. Or, I mean, you can argue that Buffalo and Tampa are competing actually with Carolina. Look at the very top of the standings in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, like right now, as I have it, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Buffalo Sabres with 100 points and Tampa with 98. They're all competing for the number one spot.
Yeah, it's wide open.
But my point is, between Carolina, Buffalo, and Tampa, all competing for the number one seed, that's Ottawa's 3 of their next 4 games. And then the other team that they're facing are the Minnesota Wild. So you can argue that Carolina, Buffalo, and Tampa don't have anything to play for, but they all probably want to come first, I would think.
For sure, yeah.
But coming first will get you whoever is going to make it now between, and I would say that they probably still don't want Ottawa with the way that Ottawa's shut teams down, but they might get themselves like a New York Islanders or a Philly or whoever sneaks into that spot. Ottawa's next games are against teams that are highly skilled.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much teams really fear Ottawa right now, because you put everything on net and things are going to start going in. It won't matter. But
yeah, I still think there's a bit of a fear of the way that Ottawa shut teams down in the last couple of months. I do.
Sure, but your other option is probably the Boston Bruins. Would you rather face the Senators or the Bruins? Probably the Senators.
I think teams would like to stay away from the Boston Bruins for sure.
Yeah.
To your point, the Boston Bruins have been so good. They have
actually, they might even hop into the Atlantic spot. They're tied with the Canadiens right now.
I have Montreal at 96, Boston at 94.
Oh, my standings did not refresh for Montreal's game tonight. We go.
So anyway, it's just a 2-point difference. But Boston has played one more game than Montreal, and they're 2 points behind. Still going to take some work. But again, the Boston Bruins have won 28 games at home this year, more than any other team in the East. They are playing very, very good hockey. I would not be wanting to play the Boston Bruins. But for Ottawa, like, all they can do is kind of get home at this point. Long flight home, but you wonder what they're all thinking about their goaltending. Tanner, you're rocking the data guy rule. Zach simply not performing. I will chastise him this weekend. Never worked before, but I enjoy it.
Thanks, James. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're working on it. We'll cut him a little bit of slack. He's been a little distracted with those little Trenton Golden Hawks, but that's all done for now. So
I
get to work, Zach.
I was giving him a little bit of leeway because this weekend he was doing a Trenton game on Friday night. This is after work, Trenton game on Friday night, and then driving Saturday back to Ottawa to do Remix Wrestling, and then had to drive back to Belleville to do Trenton on Sunday, and then worked on Monday, and then hosted an event, emceed an event on Monday night, and still was like, hey, do you want to do the wrestling show after that? I'm like, you probably need to go to bed. We'll do it. We'll do it on Tuesday morning. And so, but with all this free time that old Z Gibbons going to have coming up, absolutely. You hold him accountable. I heard a rumor that James was at his first indie wrestling show on the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do chastise him. I want no mashed potatoes on his plate at Easter dinner.
I'd be thankful.
I'm a big mashed potatoes guy. Okay, no chocolates. No chocolate.
What's that?
That? No chocolate for Z Gibbon.
Okay, well, that's a different story on Easter, but
he had St. Patrick's Day already. His holiday already happened this month.
That's true. You're a big mashed potatoes guy.
I am.
They're like the worst. They're the worst kind of potatoes.
Oh my godly.
Give me
you don't like worst kind of potatoes, mashed potatoes. You don't like dill pickles. What is this, man?
Well, this is, first of all, roast potatoes and baked potatoes and scallop potatoes are all way better than mashed.
I think I'd take mashed over all of those.
No.
Yeah.
Tanner.
Big thing of mashed potatoes and some gravy. Okay, here's a debate that was coming up in our group chat today. What's the better Easter chocolate? Mini eggs or cream eggs?
Look, I love chocolate and I love them both.
Me too.
But the answer is mini eggs.
Thank you.
Because you can eat more mini eggs. The Easter cream eggs, while very good, they're so rich. Like I was going to say the sweetest guy, but yeah, I am the sweetest guy.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes not, but sometimes. But I love sweets. I love like sweet, rich things that other people do not like. If I have an Easter cream egg, I probably can't have a second. Like it's just so rich. So I love them both, but if a mini eggs, I can have a whole bag. Like there's
okay, like 3 bags. I mean, you take one handful and you're not stopping there.
No, you can't stop.
They're so good.
And also, this is what I do with all my chocolate, so don't criticize too much, but mini eggs from the freezer, so much better.
Oh, I'm big on peanut butter cups from the freezer.
Yeah. I love all my chocolate in the freezer, to be honest. But mini eggs in the freezer. So the answer is mini eggs, but it's not like one is great and one isn't great.
Yeah. They're both good, but mini eggs are definitely better.
Yeah. Except now you go to the store and it's like there's the same bag you could buy for $2. It's like sale $7.99, and there's nothing in this bag. I was at Loblaws yesterday getting groceries. On sale, big mini eggs bags, like probably this big. Yeah.
$18.99.
Come on.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
Does Bulk Barn have them? I wonder.
Bulk Barn is probably the most expensive place you can get them. Like
that's true.
It's worse than Loblaws. I love Bulk Barn, but sometimes I go and roll in and get a couple of things, and I'm like, I didn't realize I had to take a
used to be better. Remember when I was in high school, we'd always go to Bulk Barn before we go to the movies and just sneak in with these huge bags of candy. It was so fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bulk Barn was the place, and now it's not. But mini eggs, I like this debate. That's a good debate.
Ethan, this is the first time in 6 months I went to Loblaws because it was 9:00 and Food Basics was closed.
Yeah. Damn, Tanner, you're rich shopping at Loblaws. That's actually the first thought I had as well.
Yeah.
Ethan?
We were desperate. We needed dinner for the next 3 nights before we go to Hamilton for Easter. So it was 9 p.m. Basics, it was Loblaws.
Get to a Food Basics. Get somewhere that's...
Yeah, but Food Basics closes earlier. It was late at night. I don't like shopping when it's busy. I always shop when it's like late at night or early in the morning.
Yeah, okay. I don't mind that theory, but not to get yourself out of food basics, like not to go past the time where you can actually get there.
Yeah, it was just last night was an anomaly.
By the way, you live in Barhaven anyway, and like everything's busy all the time. So
That's true.
yeah, just come out to like Carlton Place where you go at certain times. And there's like nobody in the store. It's great. But I didn't realize that there was like this hierarchy of like within the Loblaws PC, like there's literally 4 or 5 levels of like expensive. The Real Canadian Superstore is the most expensive, but it has what they call the biggest sales. So most like 80% of all their stuff is more expensive than everywhere else, but their sales are better
Yes.
in the 20%. So then it goes to Loblaws. This is all within the same like ownership change, right? So it goes to Loblaws, then it goes to the independent grocers.
Yep.
And then No Frills is
Right.
part of that company as well. And that's kind of like the food basics. So there's at least 4 in the hierarchy of most expensive to least expensive within the same company.
Yeah, and then basics is like Metro.
Yes, food basics is part of the Metro system. But No Frills has the cheapest prices with the same products, but they don't have sales very much. They just keep the prices low. Whereas the other ones will have bigger sales, but if you don't get the stuff on sale, it's way more expensive. So I agree, Ethan. I'm not going to Real Canadian Superstore, and I'm not going to Loblaws. Too expensive. I'm glad we can talk about other things after the Senators, have a 5 spot put up on them about 15 minutes into the game, and you're like,
yeah, we're an hour deep after one of the worst games of the season. I don't know what else we can talk about.
It was 7:50. I'm like, what do I do now? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm gonna watch the Jays game. I'm gonna watch some of the Montreal game. Like, oh my God, come on, guys, get to the end now. Like, we got to do a show, but there's still 2 hours to go.
Well, we got some Travis Green quotes coming out.
Okay.
First of all, he was not asked about goaltending in his post-game scrum.
Well, you can look. I say this with a smirk, but I'm somewhat serious. Okay. So there's nobody on the road.
Nope.
So Jackson Starr, who works for the Senators, did ask Travis Green about Linus Ullmark when he said, I would love to start Linus. And he was not available to go today. He needed a rest. The quote that Travis Green had was because Jackson Starr from the Ottawa Senators asked him. I don't know if I was Jackson Starr that I would be asking the coach again. If I work for the team, which he does. So if there were other media members there, you have to ask. It had to be the first question. But when there's no media members there, I'm going to give Jackson Starr a break because it needed to be asked after the Tampa game. And he asked it and Travis Green answered it. So I felt like it was more necessary on Saturday than it was today, even though I would have liked to have heard about today. I would have preferred Saturday. So I'm going to give Jackson Starr a little bit of a reprieve here because I can only imagine going in there and being the only guy there. Again, you work for the team. You're not an independent media person and you have to ask the coach again. I understand why he didn't, is all I'm saying.
No, Ethan, it was not Julian McKenzie. He's not on the road with the team. But Green did say, quote, disappointing. We've talked about the importance of a start in this building, and that was the opposite. We just looked flat, to be honest. I thought we looked flat, didn't have a lot of energy. That's about the best way I can put it. I don't think he's far off.
No, I think that's polite, but to the point. I don't know what else he's going to say, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're not going to ask, well, clearly they weren't ready when there's a miscommunication between Jordan Spence and Linus Ullmark 8 seconds into the hockey game. And whether it's just the goalie or not, we're talking a lot about the goalie. 3 high sticking penalties. 3. Artem Zub, Tyler Klevin, Shane Pinto. That is recklessness that doesn't have to be there.
Yep.
And that is on them. Because none of them were anything but human error. So, Julian says that's a very PR safe version of what the answer could have been. I would agree. But he pretty much threw his Linus Ullmark under the bus not under the bus, but didn't have his back is what Travis Green, he did not have Linus Ullmark's back on Saturday. Ethan says, let's not forget that it wasn't just Linus Ullmark tonight. It was everyone blame shared because the team had no discipline. So I agree with that. But what happens is that when your goalie lets in 2 goals and one is like the first one is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Bad goal.
You can't let that happen 8 seconds into a hockey game. And that's on the goalie. Even Jamie McLennan, the goalie hugger, was like, yep, that one's on Ullmark to drive the bus on that one. It's not up to Jordan Spence. So when the first goal and the third goal go in, it's super deflating for the rest of the guys who already in the back of their mind was like, this guy couldn't go on Saturday and he left James Reimer in there in a huge game when we needed him. And now he comes out and he plays like this. James says it was definitely bus adjacent. I don't know what that means. To you?
I'm a little lost too, yeah.
Okay. James, don't be smarter than the rest of the group, okay? Just explain it to us. See, here's another one. Like Ethan's like, let it be known I'm with Lee. Baked potatoes or grilled potatoes, clear mashed. I'm going to have to rethink my potatoes thing now that I'm on the same side as Ethan.
Mashed are so good. I'd take fries or like potato wedges.
No,
for sure.
No. Okay, so the problem with mashed, and you're not gonna sit there and tell me that every time you have mashed potatoes, they are mashed so well that you never have a lump in them. You're not gonna tell me that.
I don't mind a little lump in my mashed potatoes.
Folks, I was discussing on This Is Wrestling. If you want to go back, I try to have Tanner's back a lot, but I could not have Tanner's back during This Is Wrestling when Zach brought up Brett Favre. And now it's hard. Like, I don't mind a lump every now and again. And James, you know what? We should have got this. Not under the bus, but very close to the bus. When I said he didn't throw him under the bus, he was bus adjacent. We get it, James. Okay. Thank you for explaining it to us. No, we agree on several things the last few shows. We agree more than you think. No. I'm pretty sure Ethan didn't know who Brett Favre was either, though. I don't mind a lump every now and again. Tanner, I'm not. That's what you left me with. That's what you left me with after a night that the Ottawa Senators lose.
That lump could be bacon. That would be extra good. Now James and I are clicking. Here we go.
Yeah, but it's not bacon. If you make
it might be.
No, you need to make the bacon.
That sounds good. James, I'm coming for Easter dinner. I don't mind some bacon mashed potatoes.
I can tell you, James, that Tanner is not making bacon with his mashed potatoes. So that lump is just a not mashed lump.
You think I'm making mashed potatoes?
It's just a... You better be. Like, that's the least you could do when you're sitting around watching everybody else make it and they hand you a bowl and say, could you mash these, please?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll do that, but...
Yeah, but unacceptable that there's lumps left by you. I just can't Tanner, I'm having a hard time with this.
Gives a little texture, you know? It's better than it being like soup. I want my mashed potatoes to have some like structure.
No. Soup's
Yeah.
good.
No, there's a tradition in my family. I can't believe I'm telling this story of all things on the Sens post-game show.
Right. Tanner, they gave up 5 goals in the first 14 minutes. What else are we going to talk about?
But tradition during the Ryle Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, whatever it is, where you have mashed potatoes and gravy, is something called the gravy lake, where you will take your mashed potatoes and you press a fork down into them.
Yeah.
So it makes like a wall almost, like it's hollow, like a donut. And then you fill the middle up with gravy. And it's contained. It's like a little bowl with the gravy inside.
Like a reservoir of.
Yeah. And then all the time when you're not paying attention during the meal, the person next to you will break your lake open when you're not paying attention, and it'll spill all out. And then you win.
Oh, okay.
So, it's got to be firm enough. It can't be liquidy or it's not going to hold the lake together.
Look,
the more you know.
That's actually one of the best explanations for hard, lumpy mashed potatoes that I've ever heard. I'm like, I actually buy into that. Like, you got to make them firm, because if somebody busts your lake at the table, then you're out.
Ethan, I know how to make mashed potatoes. I'm just not making them this weekend.
Right.
You're right. It's not hard.
James says maybe now he uses bacon and some cheese in Tanner's version of poutine.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Starting to get
like a twice baked potato type of thing. Almost.
Oh, I do like a twice baked potato.
Oh yeah.
Now we're talking. It's not lumpy.
That might be the best type of potato right there.
Okay, Tanner, we're back on track here. I would agree. I love twice baked potatoes.
Bit of bacon and cheese.
Okay. Well, it's the top of the hour. It's 11 o'clock, so we are gonna let things go. The Ottawa Senators lose 6-3 to the Florida Panthers. They give up 5 goals before they even got on the board in the first period. And this one was never close. But there is some good news, because the teams that they are chasing, the New York Islanders, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Red Wings and the Flyers, who are tied with them in points, all lost in regulation like the Senators did tonight. So they are still, as we speak, they are still 2 points out of a playoff spot behind the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they have a game in hand on the Columbus Blue Jackets as well.
And another thing you can take a little bit of solace in, there isn't a single Eastern Conference team playing tomorrow night. So Sens fans, you can take a night off of scoreboard watching and stressing about where they're at. Enjoy your rink. Night.
Yeah, get back to the rink on Thursday night.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, tomorrow night you got the Canucks, Avalanche, the Blues and Kings, and the Sharks and Ducks. How about Celebrini? 100 points.
Incredible.
So good.
And now everyone's all jammed up there again too, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You got Nashville at 77 right now. The Kings at 76. The Kraken at 75. The Sharks at 75. The Sharks and the Kraken have 2 games in hand on the Nashville Predators. So that is far from over.
You got a prediction? Who do you think's getting that last wild card?
Yeah, I don't. They're all not great, right? No. Like, you look at all their records. Like, Nashville's 5-4-1 in their last 10. The Kings are 3-3-4. The Kraken are 3-5-2. The Sharks are 4-5-1. It's like, could anybody just step
somebody
up?
Take it. Like, it's free.
You know which team I would love to see get up there and get it?
Sharks?
No, the Jets.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I would love to see the Jets just like win out. Love to see it. But my prediction is that the LA Kings are going to be the team to get there.
Ugh.
I know. But they're boring. I hate watching them, but
at least the only silver lining is we probably wouldn't have to see Oilers and Kings in the first round because they'd be in different matchups.
Yeah, that's true. Ethan says, probably going to see Project Hail Mary on Thursday. Well, Tanner and Chris and Ben and everyone will be happy because everyone loves this movie.
So good, man. I might go see it again. I think I need to see it again before it
Really?
leaves theaters. Yeah, I really liked it. It's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. Yeah. Yeah, go see it on the biggest possible screen you can find. Go see it in IMAX or something. But tomorrow I'll be enjoying Invincible because a new episode comes out tomorrow night. It's a great superhero show.
I love that you've set us up now for a Wednesday night where we can just like take a step back. We can relax on a Wednesday night.
Put your phones down, Sens fans. You can maybe go outside. Might not be very nice, but
nothing to check. That's great.
Go watch some Dynamite, maybe.
You know what? I do have plans to go out and watch Dynamite tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Which I'm excited about because I actually sat through a bunch of Monday Night Raw last night, and oh my lord!
Oh god, poor you.
I've never seen a show that had so much happen that so many bad things happened, like crazy. Like they announced like 6 matches for WrestleMania. Like every time they did a segment, oh, that's a match for WrestleMania. That's a match, and everything was just so bad. Sorry, Ethan.
Well, I hear they're letting YouTubers wrestle there now, so maybe they'll let us come on.
iShow?
Yeah, doesn't Speed have a WrestleMania match?
Not yet, but it looks like he's on the way to getting one.
It's terrible. Oh my god.
Looks like he's on the way to being. I would think it's going to be him and the Vision against LA Knight and the Usos.
Oh my god.
I know. It's like that could just be in the middle of Raw and nobody would.
Oh, there he is now that he's got to do a little promo.
Yeah. All discussed on the latest episode of This Is Wrestling. Out now. Actually, we did not discuss the Usos and LA Knight against iShow Speed and the Vision. We didn't discuss that, Zach. So that is something that.
Look at this promoter here. Over promising and under delivering.
No, that's actually over delivering that we did 2 hours and 15 minutes and didn't talk about LA Knight. So that's actually
probably a good thing. Yeah.
Right. That's over delivering to our audience. And Ethan, the answer, and we're going to close the show with this. Can the Usos yeet themselves over to AEW? The answer is no, thank you.
Yeah, we'll pass. Maybe one match with the Young Bucks and then they can fuck off.
Yeah, that's a hard no. Like I no. Okay. Well, we'll recalibrate everything for Thursday. It's the Buffalo Sabres in town. They're competing for the Eastern Conference Championship in Ottawa, needing every point that they can get to get into the playoffs. So we'll see you on Thursday night for this is the pregame show, Tanner.
Sounds good.
And we thank everybody that has tuned in and listened. I did tell our good buddy Eric, who didn't hear from all night long, said he was listening. Maybe he is listening still. They would give a shout out to the Habs. And you know what? It's an Ottawa show, but they deserve it. They've won 6 in a row. They actually put themselves like 2 points behind Tampa for second. They're actually 4 points out of the Eastern Conference lead. They're 4 points behind first place in the Eastern Conference, the Montreal Canadiens.
Pretty good
All
team.
they do is win. All they do is win.
See the Toronto quote today about how the Leafs didn't expect the Canadiens and the Sabres to come surging out of nowhere. The Canadiens that made the playoffs last year.
Keith Pelly. By the way, go back if you are an interested person in, I don't know, like anything that you watch or own. Keith Pelly has basically been the head of both, like Bell and Rogers, like in the very, very top. And now he's like the head of the Leafs. And just listen to that guy make decisions and speak. Not good. I did hear that. It was a bit embarrassing, actually, for somebody to be speaking like that.
Yep.
All right. Enjoy your night off then tomorrow, and we will come back on Thursday night for the pregame show. We thank you for being with us on This Is Overtime. Once again, the Ottawa Senators lose 6-3 to the Florida Panthers and remain 2 points out of a playoff spot. We will talk to you on Thursday. Thanks for being with us on This is Overtime on OSN.